Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ringside Wrestling Entertainment. This is Joel Perez here with a more quick-paced video for you guys because we have some breaking news for you a couple days ahead of Money in the Bank. Of course, the big 7-footer Big Cass just had a matchup with Daniel Bryan at that very pay-per-view, which I would say avenged and made up for the pretty garbage matchup which we saw at the WWE Backlash pay-per-view, and made up for some lackluster build on WWE's part. But a couple days ahead of a decent matchup that actually showed that there was some progress that could be made with Big Cass, WWE has decided to release the big 7-footer, and quite frankly, I'm still myself making up a reaction to this news, because if you really think about it, the first thing that pops into my head is if you look at the weakest link on Smackdown Live out of this amazing roster that WWE has for themselves on Smackdown Live, who is the person who is going to deliver the least when it comes to programming? And out of everybody that you see, the Andrade Cien Almas, the Daniel Bryans, the AJ Styles, the Samoa Joes, everybody else who's on that roster, Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, Ty Dillinger, from top to bottom, mid-card to main eventer on Smackdown Live, who do you look at as the weakest link? And quite frankly, it always struck into my mind that it is Big Cass. You put him in a feud with Daniel Bryan, and the first thing that pops into your head is out of everybody who they can have Daniel Bryan feud with on SmackDown Live, that amazing roster that they've made up for themselves, they choose Big Cass. And quite frankly, it seems like WWE has come to that realization themselves, and they are not pulling any punches on SmackDown Live. It seems like they want the top of the top, the best of the best roster that they can possibly have on that show. And quite frankly, I'm not saying that removing Big Cass does good or bad, because when I look at somebody like Big Cass, I'm looking at somebody who still has a lot of room to improve, and that's somebody who's really learning on the job. I was always a big proponent of the fact that Enzo and Cass, clearly when Big Cass was most over, when he had the most notoriety, I was always under the notion that breaking up Enzo and Cass was a very, very bad decision, and now it has come to a confirmation pretty much that breaking up that tag team was not a good idea, because both men who once made up that tag team are now gone from the WWE. Enzo and Cass ceases to exist on WWE programming, and that is exactly what has been confirmed, that breaking up that tag team was the worst possible thing that you could have done for both men, because Enzo was just this loudmouth person who was going to get himself into some big trouble, and Big Cass, you clearly look at this guy, and this is a guy who Vince McMahon is looking at this guy's physique, and he's saying, we're going to do things with him. And clearly the reports have come out of Big Cass wanting to go out on his own. And you remember that segment on SmackDown Live just a couple weeks back with the midget Daniel Bryan, the Hornswoggle-esque physique of that little midget. He comes out and Big Cass was making fun of him, and apparently he gathered quite a bit of heat because the report was that Big Cass wanted to go far and beyond with that segment. He wanted to do as much as he could to get himself over, and he went as far as to ask management, and I think he even went to Vince McMahon, and he was asking if he can do a little bit more, and he can ground and pound, give the little midget a couple extra punches just to get as much heel heat as he possibly could. Apparently he was denied, but of course you go back and watch that segment, and he goes ahead and he grounds and pounds anyways. He beats the crap out of the midget a little more than he was supposed to, and apparently that got him a bit of heat from management, and quite frankly it seems to be the case that it just wasn't a bit of heat, it was substantial heat, and you already had this guy being the weakest link on a stacked SmackDown Live roster. You're going to be overtaken by the Sharks, and if you look at the way this guy's been booked as well, he has not been booked the strongest, especially for a guy of his size. You had Daniel Bryan lock this guy in a heel hook in one segment, have him tapping out each and every single time that he stepped in the ring with Daniel Bryan. It's been a tap out situation, and he's shown promise. That's where this is kind of disappointing. That is the room for disappointment that there is with this announcement of the release of Big Cass, because looking back at it, there is room for improvement with Big Cass. He did have a decent matchup with Daniel Bryan at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. It definitely improved upon what they did at Backlash. He was cutting some pretty decent promos on SmackDown Live. Yes, they can use work, but there was room there for this guy to get better and to become something that could really have benefited WWE's roster, especially for a big man. But WWE, you go out there and you try to get yourself over. If you try to take an inch, they will destroy and they will shut that shit down. And this might be a case of exactly that. And I'm wondering, is Big Cass's release here the start of WWE's annual spring cleaning, where they just go on this flurry of releasing superstar after superstar? Is Big Cass the first name? And if this is a pretty substantial first name. I did not see this coming myself. I mean, Big Cass just coming out of a program with Daniel Bryan. That is no small name. Daniel Bryan, in most of our eyes, is the face of this company, or at least he should be positioned coming out of retirement, or coming back out of retirement. I mean, he should be the face of the company, and Big Cass was the one chosen to go into a feud with Daniel Bryan. It seems to be that WWE didn't think that he delivered, and it was either you perform or you go home, and you go big or go home, and Big Cass, after this, is going home. So it's going to be interesting to see if WWE continues throughout the day with releases, but this is the big story for now. Big Cass has been released from the WWE. Leave all your comments. Tell me what you're thinking about this big news story in the comment section below, because there's certainly a lot of reactions and there's certainly a lot of things to go back and think about when it comes to Big Cass's release. As far as I am concerned, it doesn't really matter to me. If anything, this is more of a benefit to the SmackDown Live roster, because instead of WWE trying to find ways to insert Big Cass somewhere where they really don't need to insert him just in hopes of getting him over, they can put somebody who is more deserving of that spot in the position, a Ty Dillinger, maybe somebody who's not being used on SmackDown Live and deserves to be used on SmackDown Live. This creates ever more the opportunity for somebody else to come and rise to the spot that Big Cass was in, and hopefully somebody else can shine off of this. That's the way I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this in a more optimistic manner, in a more optimistic nature, because quite frankly, WWE, they were not very optimistic about Big Cass, but that is the story there. Leave your comments down in the comment section below. What are you thinking? Because your opinion is just as important as mine. So leave it down in the comment section below. And of course, you are watching Joel Perez. This is the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. So I just want to tell you guys very quickly before we go off here, this shorter 10-minute video, I just want to tell you guys to make sure to go check out all the other content on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. Smackdown Live review coming later tonight after that show goes off the air. Monday Night Raw review was uploaded last night, doing very well. Make sure to go check it out if you have not done so already. Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live reviews each and every single week. Pay-per-view reviews as well. Money in the Bank was reviewed this past Sunday, as well as NXT TakeOver Chicago. Make sure to go check all that great content out. Each and every single thing regarding the WWE weekly right here on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. And there's no better time to subscribe than now. Going into these summer months, we're going to be talking about all the tournaments coming up. UK tournament coming up next week, as well as the Mae Young Classic. We're going to be doing all that. Raw reviews, SmackDown reviews weekly, Behind the Mic, where we talk about all the news in the WWE. This, of course, a little breaking news video for your week. So make sure to, of course, subscribe to the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. Click on that notification bell to get all these notifications straight to your mobile device each and every single time I upload. Make sure to go check out the social media links to that in the comment section below. That is Twitter and Instagram, so make sure to go check it out. And, of course, make sure to like this video if you enjoy what you're hearing here, because for now, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Joel Perez of Ringside Wrestling Entertainment, and for now, I am out of here. Thank you very, very much for watching this video. I will see you all next time right here on Ringside Wrestling.